The reason our country's going down the tubes under the Biden administration is because Joe Biden, or whoever's pulling his strings, it could be Barack Obama or Obama's Lord and Master, Valerie Jarrett, whatever. But Biden appoints people not for their experience for the job he's nominating them for, but for things like race, which is racist, their gender, which is sexist, if they help the party in a big way and it's a payoff, or if they're just uber wokety woke. Whenever you appoint people based on anything but their experience in the job, you get a bunch of incompetents running the country. That's what we're running into. Let's get into it. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So we have a bunch of people who are just not right for the job that are infused inside the Biden administration. Take Pete Buttigieg, for example. They call him Pothole Pete because he couldn't fix the potholes in South Bend, Indiana, where he was mayor. His main superpower is overperforming in a handful of states during the primaries. He has absolutely no experience in transportation. He has none of the prerequisites that would be required to run the transportation department at the cabinet level. But he was the one who bailed out of the primaries and said that he did it because he believes Joe Biden is the only one who could beat Donald Trump. And everyone else went and dropped out as well because of what he did. So there's a payback for him. So Biden made him Secretary of Transportation, and it's been one disaster after another because he's an incompetent fool. Then we have Janet Yellen, who is the Secretary of the Treasury, who has completely screwed up our economy by allowing for high inflation, and she doesn't even know how to get us out of it. Next, we have Ketanji Brown Jackson. Biden nominated her to fill the seat of Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the U.S. Supreme Court. The woman has all the bona fides necessary to sit on the court, but she has a real problem with wokeism in her past rulings. And there's one thing in particular that she should have been denied access to the seat over. Ketanji Brown Jackson thinks that the Constitution is racist. Now, whether you do or not, if you think the Constitution is racist, then how can you take an oath to uphold and defend it? It's because these lefties don't take an oath of office seriously. For them, it's just one of those formalities that you have to go through to get the power of the office you seek. They're a bunch of phonies. We have Alejandro Mayorkas, who's running the Department of Homeland Security. He should be impeached for what he's done to our southern border. Well, what he's done to the country through the southern border policies. He's tied the hands of the Border Patrol agents at the southern border. He's turned our immigration policies into, if you get caught coming in illegally, you get sent back out, to if you get caught coming in, we process you, we give you a hearing date that we know you will never show up for. We let you roam the country. We give you a Biden phone, some cash in a goodies bag, and put you on a plane for a destination unknown. Those are big names that you've probably heard of, but there are people that Biden is nominating to positions in the government that have to go through the advice and consent of the Senate, and they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Here's Phil Washington, who was once the CEO of Denver International Airport. Biden nominated him to lead the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, the agency that's charged with the safety of planes, making sure they get off the ground, stay in the air, and land safely on time. According to Fox News, Washington had initially failed to advance last year after concerns about his limited experience in the aviation industry were put out there. And because of equity, Biden insisted that he get put through the process. So Wednesday of last week, during his Senate confirmation hearings, we found out why people had concerns about this guy. Being a CEO of an airport does not make you worthy of being the head of the FAA. Now, watch Senator Ted Budd ask this man 7 questions, and he was a 0 for 7. And these weren't stacked questions against the man. These were questions that you would ask anybody who wants that job.
So, Mr. Washington, can you quickly tell me what airspace requires an ADS-B transponder?
Not sure I can answer that question right now.
That's okay. We'll just keep going. So that's a pretty important part. So what are the 6 types of special use airspace that protect this national security that appear on FAA charts?
Sorry, Senator, I cannot answer that question.
Okay, so what are the operational limitations of a pilot flying under basic med.
Senator, I'm not a pilot, so.
But obviously you'd oversee the Federal Aviation Administration. So any idea what those restrictions are under basic med, quickly?
Well, some of the restrictions I think would be high blood pressure. Some of them would be.
It's more like how many passengers per airplane, how many pounds in different categories, and what altitude you can fly.
In other words, the guy's a moron. Now, this Ted Budd, a lot of people are going to say he's picking on him. No, he's just asking questions that this man should know if he thinks that he can be the head of the FAA.
Or so, and then amount of knots, it's under 250 knots. So it's not having anything to do with blood pressure. So can you tell me what causes an aircraft to spin or to stall?
Again, Senator, I'm not a pilot.
Okay, let's keep going. What are the 3 aircraft certifications the FAA requires as part of the manufacturing process? Quickly, please. 3 aircraft certifications.
Again, what I would say to that is that one of my first priorities would be to fully implement that Certification Act and report.
You know the 3 types, Mr. Washington?
He doesn't want to answer.
3 types. Okay. Yeah, that's types.
I'm surprised he didn't say the good and plenty's clause.
Certificate, production certificate, and airworthiness certificate. Okay. All right. Let's just keep going, see if we can.
It's going to be the same. He doesn't know the answer to any of these questions. And Joe Biden wants him to be in charge of your safety flying. Equity. And finally, we have the Senate confirmation for federal district court nominee Judge Charnel Bjelkengren. Republican Senator John Kennedy is asking the questions, and she doesn't know the answers. And you would think that someone who wants to be on a federal district court would know the answers to these simple questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations to all of you. Judge on the far end, tell me what Article 5 of the Constitution does.
Article 5 is not coming to mind at the moment.
Okay. How about Article 2?
Neither is Article 2.
I could almost forgive her for not knowing Article 5, but if you want to be on a federal district court, you should know the Constitution before going for your confirmation hearing. It's not just a rubber stamp thing. This is where our country's going down the tubes. Biden is not nominating people for their experience to handle the job. These positions that he is filling people in with, folks who fit a certain checkbox on the woke chart, are affecting people's lives. The policies that they will create and enforce affect people's lives. And we have been learning that since January 2021. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to support the channel, go to rpwmedia.com and read all of our stories, share our stories with like-minded people, and share this video. We'll see you in the next one.
Every day I'm looking for a way to return to the time when everything was easy to learn. Don't know when it started to get so serious.